Great.
Hello everyone and welcome to Obsessed Live with Annette Densham, and today I'm joined by the magnificently colourful Donna Burrows. Now today we're going to talk about lots of really interesting things about taking back your power. Now Donna's overcome crippling anxiety and lack of self-care, acceptance and healed trauma in her life, and she's now really passionate about supporting, guiding and empowering women to do the same. Donna, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome, Annette. I'm happy to be here today.
I know. It's so great, isn't it, that we can use this stuff to share knowledge and reach out and help other people. That's what I really love about Obsessed Hub. Now,
Absolutely.
can we get started with a little bit of backstory so that we can help others? Like I always think, when we come out and we say, I can help you do this, and people go, well, what do you know about this? So that they go,
Absolutely.
oh, okay, you didn't make this up in the bath last night. So what was it that led you to go, you know what, I need to change my life?
I always feel I wasn't someone that grew up with a lot of confidence. I was always that happy person, but it wasn't really brought to my attention until I was in a very difficult relationship and I started attending these classes on self-development that I thought, I actually really don't love myself that too much. And I feel that from that space, I was attracting in some really difficult experiences in my life. You're not really radiating at your highest frequency when you're in that zone. And that's what basically got me into working on myself and backtracking a little bit more. I started suffering with major anxiety about 20 years ago. I was just driving to work one day. I had not felt any anxiety before that, and I had a full-blown panic attack, and I thought I was having a heart attack. It's similar symptoms to having a heart attack. And that became my theme song for 20 years. And every time I went through a challenging situation in life, which I just seemed to keep drawing them in, but I'll talk about 3 ways of being in a minute, where you get stuck in that victim mentality. Um, that's through that anxiety, that's what's led me here now, from healing that anxiety and learning all the different modalities that healed me, that I then trained in. And I just feel I'm being called to help women and children. I work with children as well, from young ones up to teenagers. So yeah, I feel like I'm being called now to help women and children through their anxiety, lack of self-worth, any traumas that they've got going on, to, what's keeping them playing their life so small, like I was, into now just feeling completely different and in love with myself, in love with life, and stepping into that radical self-love and acceptance really does change every area of your life. You start attracting in amazing experiences because that's what you're aligned to. So that's a little bit of background of what led me to like my passion and really stepping into what I feel like I'm meant to be doing in my lifetime. Oh, you're gone. I can't hear you now. There we are.
Those things I was on mute, so
That's okay.
I do that all the time and then forget to take it off. I really feel that I'm going to make a t-shirt that says, you're on mute. So I think that's what been the catch cry of 2020, isn't it? You're on mute. I can't hear you.
This whole year's just been a bit out there.
Yeah, well, and I think in terms of anxiety, that this year has ramped it up for so many people, hasn't it? Because of the uncertainty and just the craziness.
Absolutely. Even for children that I have coming through, they have definitely said that their anxiety has increased, just from the media, all over the news. Every time I went to school, everywhere they are going, everyone's talking about coronavirus and, seeing so many people die all over the world, which is just horrific. Really, really triggered their anxiety and fear of death. So that's what I've been working with a lot of children and in general with women as well.
Where does anxiety come from? I mean, like
I just feel like
you were just driving along and it hit you. But there must be is there some sign that people can go, okay, I'm on a slippery slope here?
Yeah, definitely recognizing when you're starting to feel overwhelmed. But for me, I just feel I always had this massive fear around me. Even when I was young, I was scared of the dark. And that was huge. I would sleep with the light on. So I just feel like there was just so many fear-filled experiences in my life that it just took one little more thing. And I didn't realise at the time when I had the panic attack, I was actually pregnant with twins. And for me, pregnancy hormones triggers anxiety as well, because it's the hormones coming out of balance. And so everybody's got their different triggers. But I just think in society these days as well, everything's just changed and fast-paced. Like, we've just lost the simplicity of life. And more and more anxiety is showing up for people, for men, for women, for children. And I just think that we need to just slow down. And I think a positive thing that this year has taught us is to slow down and reconnect within and really anchor into what's important to us. And, and that is really loving our family and just bringing our life back to a simple life. And I definitely feel that would reduce people's anxieties for sure.
Is anxiety something that's more prevalent in this generation than at any other time?
Absolutely. I feel it's, I know just working with teenagers, seeing that difference from when I was growing up, just all the social media and all the comparisons that you have to women. And, due to the, even the cyberbullying, I have some children that are being bullied, and it's just all through social media. We didn't have that when I was young. You had your landline, and if you couldn't get hold of someone, that was that. But
Yeah.
it's just a different world, and I really do feel things are shifting. Though I feel like this is a big shake-up this year in people's consciousness as well, and it's a big turning point in the world collectively.
It's funny you say that, because I remember as a kid, is if your parents let you use the phone, because mine were always like, you just saw them at school, I don't see why you need to talk to them again.
That's what my mum would say.
Yeah, my teenage son said to me a few weeks ago, Mum, what do you miss about being a kid? And I went, oh, okay, because, like, even as adults, you've talked about the things that were fearful for you. There were things that frightened me. Horrible things happened. I guess we can romanticize different generations, but we all in some way dealt with trauma. And I said, you know what I miss that if someone wanted, I don't know whether I missed it, but when someone bullied you, they had to do it to your face, and you knew where you stood. You knew how to avoid them. You knew that you could, get your friends to come and back you up. Now we're so isolated that it's really easy. It's almost like, a hyena picking off, their prey. So, yeah, it's kind of sad, isn't it, to think that we've got this generation of kids who are just being beaten down.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I love empowering women for is because when that mother who's their teacher really steps into that self-love and acceptance and forgiveness, that then shifts that and ricochets that energy down onto the children. So they're learning that from their parent. So it's about empowering women so their children are seeing this new empowered version of their mother, and someone that absolutely loves themselves and in that place of acceptance. And to teach children, this is what I say to my 9-year-old son, and he can be very hard on himself at times, and I have to remind him that, honey, you're just so young and you're still learning, and they're actually not mistakes. And I don't like that word mistake, because I feel like they're just an opportunity to learn and grow. And if we don't make these so-called mistakes, like how we all, like even as adults, we do it too, but how are you going to learn and grow without having that guilt around it? And so it's just about stepping into that real place of level acceptance and forgiving yourself and others, because we don't always get it right, and that's okay.
What, you're human? What? Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. we do have that expectation, don't we, that
yes,
that the things that we buy, the people that we engage with, the people we hire to do jobs are going to deliver something absolutely 100% perfect. And if there is a mistake or something doesn't work, that it's almost like, the sky's falling.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can easily hook in if you've had a lot of trauma through your life, and you're really anchoring in still to that's your story and that's who you are. This beautiful lady called Emily Lane that taught me this. It's 3 ways of being. So the first one is life is happening to me, which is really in that victim mentality. And like everyone has been in that space. I've been in that space. That's just called life. But we get so hooked into that's your story that you don't realize you're actually creating more and more of experiences in your life where you are the victim, and you're just playing your life so small in that arena. It's not a good place to be. So the next stage is where life is where you're creating it, basically. So, but it's that push. You're in the real masculine side of yourself, which we need to do when we just go, I'm done with playing the victim, but now I'm just going to go for it in life, which is fantastic. But if you stay in that space, which is quite ego based, you get burnt out easily over time. And the third one is where life is flowing to me or through me, and that's where you're sort of really stepping into yourself. You still have your passions and your desires and what you want to create, but you're not forcing so much and going against the flow. You're stepping into yourself and sort of, connecting with your higher consciousness in co-creating, and you're realizing that you're actually a co-creator with the universe, and that's where the magic is, and that's where amazing things start coming to you, and we're in that alignment. And that's the place that we all, it's the best place to be and to create what we want in our life.
So that place that you're talking about,
Yeah,
it sounds easy to do. Is
sounds
it
easy.
Yeah, is
No,
it?
no.
No, that's the simple answer.
It takes an absolute lot of work. I have invested so much in myself to heal. I actually had a breakdown 4 years ago. I'd lost a baby. I'd lost my nan. My twin girls didn't get on with my husband. So at 17, they left home. They had so much resentment towards me. I stayed in my marriage. We had a little 4-year-old boy, and that was just the last straw for me. And I was at that place where my anxiety was absolutely peaking. And one day I just dropped on my knees and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't live with this anxiety. I need some help. And I got guided back to a book by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And little did I know that you could train as a facilitator in her work. And that's what I did in 2018, and I went with a big backpack of freaking trauma from my life, and and I was just, I was like freaking carrying that, I won't swear, but that stuff, garbage around with me for so long, and I was like, I'm determined on a mission to heal myself because I was in such a bad place. I just couldn't go on the way I was, and and anxiety was at an all-time high, and so in that breaking point, though, that's your making point also. So that's what I teach my clients, is that, when you're in that place where you're just in despair, that's the perfect opportunity and invitation for you to then have a good look at your life and rebuild from there. So off I went to this workshop, and I had to attend it as a participant first before I trained in it. And I just love her philosophies, is that a word? That was my turning point in my life, was just then from there on in just continuing to work on myself. So yes, it does. You do go through all the stages of the victim mentality, and then the push when you want life to change for you, and then really stepping into your empowerment and learning to flow with life. It's a process, absolutely. And that's a process that I take clients through because I've been through it myself.
Wow. And I imagine that process is confronting, but also very cathartic.
Yep, very confronting, but I have such deep compassion for people, and people just feel instantly relaxed to be able to open and share. People are sharing their innermost turmoils with you, and I've been through it myself. You have to be raw and vulnerable to heal. It's just part of the process, and it's finding that right practitioner or therapist where you feel really comfortable and aligned with. And when you're ready to do that healing, that person will just show up in your life, and that's what's happened for me. Each teacher has kind of stepped up along the way with their different skills, and and I'm in much better headspace now. I don't get any anxiety or panic attacks anymore, but I have a new skill set. So if I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, I start straight away practicing my mindset and doing the things that work for me.
Oh, beautiful. As you were talking, I was thinking of, we're talking about different generations,
Yeah.
and I look at almost the stuffiness of the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. There were very delineated roles for males and females. And then we got into like the 60s and 70s where there was a little bit of like that, the free love, and people started to push back. It was like we weren't quite ready for it then. And then through the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, we had such a capitalistic, almost greedy voraciousness around how we present. It was all about being professional and the big suits and, this look. So it seems like we're at the precipice now of these things that you're like. When I looked at what you were talking about today, and I went, wow, I'm talking to a lot of people about self-love, about healing, about self-care, that, it's gone from being something that's, well, there's the weirdos over there, we'll let them sit over
Yes.
there and sing Kumbaya, to being really mainstream and
Absolutely.
it's like we're ready for this stuff. We're ready to heal.
Yep. Absolutely. So there is major shifts going on worldwide at the moment, and it's on that higher conscious level. So collectively, the energy is shifting, and more people are stepping into themselves and showing up as leaders. And there's actually a lot more women that are leading in this arena. And I don't know if it's because we've got that nurturing, natural instincts or whatever it is, but we're definitely stepping back into that golden age where we do live life differently and we are more connected. And as I said, just bringing it back to that simplicity of life and just stepping into that self-love. So that the two biggest things that I have healed from anxiety is stepping into self-love and forgiveness. And so they're two really strong things that I teach people, because when you step into self-love, it changes the things that you buy. It changes how you interact with people, how you feel about yourself, how you treat the environment. So it really does shift and shake up how you show up in the world, and passing it down to our generations right now is just so important. And that's what's going to bring about change in the world, because our kids are our next generation, basically. So, I've put so much energy into my son, and he's just really, really loves all the beliefs that I share with him, and loves his crystals. I know. I had a website and I launched my website on Monday, but I was talking to my lady who's created my website, just doing last minute changes, and he was home from school, and he kept going on about these crystals, and he's like, can I swap a crystal for this? And da 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 da. And anyway, my website lady's like, who said that? No 9-year-old ever.
No. Well, I sit here.
Oh, you got yours out.
Yeah, they sit with me. They're on my desk.
Beautiful.
So I can pick them up. If I'm feeling, I just kind of pick them up, and like, oh God, I would never have admitted that 10 years ago. even though I did it, because people would go, like, really, it's a bit weird. I want, I'm gonna get a little controversial here. So, we've got these different camps that are saying, there's people who are saying COVID is a big conspiracy, that, it's man-made, and there's so many conspiracies around. And like you were talking about, that we kind of get what we put out there, and it's almost like that we manifested this pandemic or the resulting implications of the pandemic because we needed that instigation to change, to realize that what we were doing was kind of a little screwed up, and that we weren't looking after each other, we weren't loving each other, and we certainly weren't loving ourselves. What do you think? Am I off there?
Well, no, I share the same belief as you. I don't know how COVID was created. But I do believe that it had to happen to shake up the world. I feel like it's the universe has created this because we're not really meant to be living the way we had been living. Everybody was just so for themselves, even as far to go as selling off a lot of like we owned in Australia, like our dairy farmers and different things, even just sort of like coming back where we can actually, sustainably live in Australia off our own, what we create. And I think that's really important to bring that back into balance. But as well as people are going, I just feel like, it's just been going down such an ego-based way for a very long time, and there's such division in the world, in countries. And I think this is an opportunity we can just take a positive from it, is to see that we've actually started reconnecting with a lot of people and caring about a lot of people in other countries, and just really stepping into the changes and the positive things. There's been terrible things going on worldwide with everybody dying and financially as well, but this definitely had to happen to shake the world up, because we couldn't have kept on going the way we were. We're actually in a path of self-destruction within ourselves and within our world.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm in the same camp as you. I think that if we've just become a globe of narcissism, that
Yes.
we just like me. Like I look at the world of influencers, and I'm not bagging those who make a living out of it. I am looking at why we're so focused on our engagement and how many likes that we get, instead of looking at how have I made a difference to people. I think that's the best metric that there is on the planet.
Absolutely, I agree there, Annette.
So if someone's looking to start this journey of self-healing, kicking that imposter syndrome to the curb, loving themselves a little bit more, what's their first step on that journey?
I guess owning where they are within themselves, because everyone's a lot of people are walking around with a mask on, and that's for self-protection really. But I guess taking that mask off and having a look at what changes that you'd like to make in your life, how would you like your life to look, and then reaching out to someone that you feel aligned with and what modality you're attracted to. But I do believe when you're ready to make these changes within yourself, I just feel that teacher, you might meet them at the shop, you might talk to them in the doctor's surgery, and someone might put you onto them. It'll just happen organically and be the right person for you. But yeah, definitely when you start to recognize, I just can't do this the way I am anymore. I don't want this to be my story forever. That's a good starting point to reach out to someone to make those changes, definitely. Sorry.
And like I think you said a really important thing. It's around ownership, isn't it? And taking responsibility, because it's really easy to blame, hey, I was abused as a child. It's easy to blame. I mean, like, you didn't ask for that, of course.
No.
But how you live your life afterwards is your choice.
Absolutely. So we have no control how other people, treat us, but we have responsibility and control over how we react to that situation. So we can walk through life, feeling hard done by, and then that's your story forever. Or you can empower yourself and make those changes, and choose a different story for yourself.
I love that, because then it's, I know we've said this isn't easy. You've got to do a lot of work to get to that point where you go, hey, I'm a happy, healthy, balanced individual. But wasn't that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step?
Absolutely. It's one step at a time. Yeah, it is a journey. It is. It takes time. It takes courage. It takes determination. But when you're ready, you'll have all of that, and you'll just keep showing up for yourself. And of course, you're going to have stumbles along the way. I've had stumbles, but I've got set now to be able to get back up on my feet quicker. And that's what I want to offer my clients. You know, we're not in a perfect world. We're perfectly imperfect. We're going to have challenges all through our life, but it's what you do with that from here on in once you started doing that work on yourself. And it's how you show up for yourself constantly and, you know, tapping into your new skill set to be able to pick yourself up off the floor quicker than you used to.
Would you say that our mind would be our most powerful tool that we have to start
Absolutely.
this journey?
Absolutely. So that's what I work with my clients, and it's just sharing that philosophy from Louise Hay, is that your thoughts create your world, and it's true. And it's a hard pill to swallow at first when you've had a lot of crappy experiences in your life. But as I said, when we're really sort of stuck in that victim mentality, that's what we're doing. We're rerunning stories over and over and over, and our thoughts are creating more of those negative experiences in our life. So what I teach people, we write down negative messages that you've heard, the things that you want to work on changing, and we start rewriting them. So there's a few ways, and one is using power statements of affirmation. So just rewriting that negative message that you've heard all your life, or you've been saying to yourself, or someone's been saying to you, and turning that around into a positive statement that is then, I guess, your mantra to bring about positive change in your life. But yeah, definitely our thoughts create things. So it's about working on your mindset, definitely. From the first minute you wake up in the morning, that's the most powerful time to start making these different choices in your mind.
Oh my God, I love it. Donna Burrows, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
You're welcome.
I love your insights and I love your attitude, and I really
Thank
feel
you.
I feel like I've got a bit more sparkle and rainbow in my life today.
Thank you. I'll just quickly share my new website. I've got lots of freebies on there. Top 10 tips stepping into self-love, and there's top 10 tips how to stop anxiety in its tracks before it gets hold of you. So there's lots of free information, and that's what I want the website to be, a place you can come where you can feel that you're being heard and held, and if you feel connected to me, then you can reach out, obviously. But the website is www.healingyouFromWithin.com.au. So go on there and check it out. Each week I'm going to put up there some free articles, some more information, which is transformation information to help you on your journey. That will be your starting point to check all those freebies out.
That's excellent. I'll put the link in the chat box.
Thanks, Annette.
Somewhere over there, but you'll find it.
That's all right. Thank you so much for having me today.
You're so welcome, and thank you everybody for joining in, and we'll see you next time.